We got this one from Politico. Who wants to read the headline?
Politico.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, please put me on the spot here.
From Politico. I love Hitler. Leaked messages expose young Republicans' racist chat.
I ain't reading that quote. Thousands of private messages reveal young GOP leaders talking about gas chambers, slavery, and rape. I gotta be completely honest with our audience. When we read this story, we were all laughing. Like
I wasn't. I was crying.
He was upset. He was like, "You guys are bad."
Under the table.
We were just busting out laughing. Milo made a tweet about it, and he was like, "There was not one hard R in the whole chat," and he's offended by that. Here's the story. Leaders of young Republican groups throughout the country worried what would happen if their Telegram chat ever got leaked, but they kept typing anyway. They referred to black people as monkeys and the watermelon people, and mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They talked about raping their enemies and driving them to suicide, and lauded Republicans who they believed supported slavery. Now, I want to clarify, too, I don't believe Politico. I think I don't know if they've actually published all the messages. I'd be willing to bet a lot of it is dark humor. I'm sure a lot of the use of the slurs are legitimate racist epithets or things like that. I'm not saying it's not. But I don't think they're literally saying they want to gas chamber people. I think they're trying to make edgy jokes.
Well, I just want to point this out. This is a weird thing to catch, but Politico has this weird thing about the word muse for whatever reason, because when Jay Jones talked about, in his private text messages, talking about shooting his opponent, talking about wanting to see that person's children die in their arms, it was like he mused about the children dying. You're like, that is just a very bizarre use of that word. But again, the greater point here is
Charlie Kirk text message person that's writing those.
What happened?
My lover, my muse.
Well, the thing. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right. That was also very bizarrely
Fake
written.
language.
I mean, look at this message. Or finish your point.
No, I guess my point is, yeah, man. I think there's a lot of things that are wrong to say, but when Democrats are out there fantasizing about their opponents' children dying and their actual politicians running for re-election, and the media says nothing to condemn it and no one comes out and condemns it, and then those same people are posting about this, talking about radicalization, it's impossible for me to take them seriously.
Let me read this. Someone wrote, "Everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber, and everyone that endorsed but then votes for us is going to the gas chamber." Someone responded, "If they vote for us, why would they be gassed? Because it's meant to be shock humor." He's making an ironic, he's being edgy. He's trying to be offensive. "I'm going to create some of the greatest physiological torture methods known to man. We only want true believers." I would argue that if they were being serious in these posts, then they sound like they're extremely autistic. So, but JD Vance has chimed in. I think I got JD Vance's tweet. He says, "This is far worse than anything said in a college group chat. And the guy who said it could become the AG of Virginia. I refuse to join the pearl clutching when powerful people call for political violence." So this is we've got this from Kalshi. Shout out Kalshi for sponsoring this segment. Who will win the attorney general race in Virginia? This is Jay Jones and Jason Miyares, and Jones has collapsed following this scandal. But Jones said in a post, when asked, "You weren't simply asking questions, he says, "I genuinely was. I wasn't attacking you. I was trying to understand your logic. You weren't trying to understand. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. Yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy." This is a guy who wants to be the AG in Virginia, saying he wants his opponent's children to die, so they side with his policy agenda. Well, fortunately, Kalshi's prediction model shows that he has collapsed, and Miyares is now a 2-1 favorite following that scandal. I mean, look how crazy it was. The Democrats were a 99% chance to win, and now it's flipped 62-39.
You know what I predict? I think that it's possible he might end up being condemned, but they will wait to throw him under the bus until they're 100% certain he's going to lose. Because to them, winning the election is too important. But if he gets kicked, if there's no way he wins, if the polls are really bad, or after the election's over, when he does lose and they know for sure, they're going to go, "Oh, he shouldn't have said that."
They'll be saying, "We trusted the voters to do the right thing."
Exactly.
We trusted the voters to do the right. We trusted Virginians. We know the soul of Virginians, and we trusted Virginians to do the right thing.
And then
the most cynical answer.
And then they'll say things like, "Oh, well, I condemned it," and it'll be people who condemned it after the election. Well, of course I condemned it. Yeah. I didn't condemn it while he was running, when it counted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, Thankfully, I mean, from my perspective, I'm thankful that the people of Virginia seem to be, aware that this is a terrible, or that would be a terrible situation. Because like I said earlier, if he did win, if he was the AG, then every Republican in Virginia could guarantee that they would not get equal treatment under the law.
That's right.
A lot of people are talking about like what he said and the things that he said, like they are abhorrent, but the underlying point is this is going to make everybody in Virginia that isn't a Democrat, they're going to make them a target.
I want to read more from the story. They say at Politico, at least one person in the Telegram chat works in the Trump admin, Michael Bartels, who according to his LinkedIn account serves as a senior advisor in the Office of General Counsel within the U.S. Small Business Administration. Bartels did not have much to say in the chat, but he didn't offer any pushback against the offensive rhetoric in it either. He declined to comment. A notarized affidavit signed by Bartels, obtained by Politico, also sheds light on the intra-party rivalry that led to the Restore War Room, whatever that means, Telegram chat to be made public. Bartels references Wax as well. He wrote that he did not give Politico the chat and that Wax demanded in a phone call that he provide the full chat log. When I attempted to resist that demand, after providing some of the requested information, Wax threatened my professional standing and raised the possibility of potential legal action related to an alleged breach of non-disclosure agreement. Bartels claimed in the affidavit, my position within the New York Young Republican Club was directly threatened. Walker, who now leads the New York State Young Republicans, touched on a similar theme, saying that he believes portions of the chat may have been altered, taken into context, or otherwise manipulated, and the private exchanges were obtained and released in a way clearly intended to inflict harm. He also apologized that there is no excuse for the language, blah, blah, blah. Look at this. 251 times says, mixed into formal conversations about whipping votes, social media strategy, and logistics, the members of the chat slung around an array of slurs, which Politico is republishing now to show how they spoke. Epithets like F hyphen 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 T, retarded, unredacted by the way, and N hyphen hyphen GA appeared more than 251 times. In one instance, Walker, who at the time was a staffer for Ort, talked about how a mutual friend in some in the chat dated this very obese Indian woman for a period of time. Giunta responded the woman was not Indian, she just didn't bathe often. I don't know why that's supposed to be offensive. Someone thought a person was Indian. They said, she's not Indian, she just doesn't bathe. Is the implication the guy thought he was Indian because she didn't bathe?
Yeah, I think that's the offensive part.
They're offended by that? Samuel Douglas, a state senator from northern Vermont, also the head of the state's Young Republicans, replied to Giunta in a separate conversation, blah, blah, blah. So apparently the actual story here is that there's an offensive group chat among young college guys and that it got leaked because they're angry with each other. So I think all of these people are retards and scumbags, and it's really easy for me to say. I don't really care about the language a bunch of edgy, angsty young men are trying to use or whatever. If they're actual Nazis, then I'm not interested in, working with them, but it's like I'm not going to debate them. If they want to have those ideas, then they can debate anybody like anybody else. But whoever leaked this is an absolute scumbag, because spreading private internal communications that are expected to be private is a violation of loyalty, and the lowest circle of hell is reserved for the betrayers and the disloyal. And this was a political weapon used to empower the left to damage people that they were pissed off at, and it is just the utmost scumbaggery. That being said, a lot of the stuff in here that is offensive and whatever, by all means, these guys are scumbags too. I don't care, but I think disloyalty is substantially worse than being offensive.
I think as far as group chats go, this is actually extremely tame. I don't know if you guys are in group chats, but really as far as group chats go, these are extremely tame. What I think is fascinating here...
Elaad's in a group chat where it's literally just the N-word over and over again. They don't say anything else.
I would never say anything untoward in a group chat. I've never even been in a group chat where any curse word has been... Did they put retard in the 251 count? All this...
They did, but they didn't redact it, so it's like, do they really care about the word retard?
It's back, baby.
I think
back.
I think in private conversations, people like to be sarcastic and even offensive and even say racist things sometimes. And do I think, those are commendable things? Not exactly, but do I think they're condemnable? I don't think it's really worth condemning. And, the fascinating part here is how Democrats treat the so-called bad actors on their side who say things that are bad or just as bad. So the example you guys used earlier was this J guy running for Attorney General here in Virginia, Abigail Spanberger, the person who's running above the ticket for for governor here in Virginia during the debate they recently had refused to condemn, refused to, unendorse the guy. But on the right, when we have people saying, some allegedly problematic things, you already have people like Mike Lawler coming out of the woodwork, happy to condemn because they're scared of the repercussions. I just want to read you guys what Mike Lawler said of this, just to kind of analyze what Democrats.
Chat. I thought
No,
I don't
I don't even have any friends. I'm actually not in any group chats. If you have any group chats that have allegedly racist things in them, I have no friends. I'm not in any group. So, but I want the reaction, I think, to the bad actors in the party is what's important to recognize here. This is what Mike Lawler's reaction to this was. He said, "I'm disgusted by the hateful anti-Semitism and racism revealed in these messages. Anyone involved in this disgraceful behavior should immediately resign from any leadership position and reflect on how far they've strayed from basic decency and respect." I don't think this pearl clutching is getting us anywhere, and especially in this day and age, trying to excommunicate people over at best some untoward language. But again, as far as group chats go, these conversations were relatively tame. I'm surprised they didn't find something more outrageous. Like the Indian joke was really as crazy as it gets. They counted every UHERA as an I don't think we're going to get very far by condemning this kind of stuff. The Democrats don't condemn this sort of stuff inside of their party. The pearl clutching is getting us nowhere.
These people have obviously never been in an Xbox Live COD Call of Duty room. This is a non-story. Like, they're young dudes.
They're a bunch
talking
of nobodies. That's what I'm saying. These are not high-ranking party officials or anything like that.
I don't think that matters. The point that I'm making is they're young guys that are just trying to be irreverent. They're just trying to say things that are edgy. Nowadays, these are the edgy things to say.
They also spent their childhood being told they can't say any of this stuff. This was normal when I was a kid.
Did they? Yeah,
I mean, I'm 50. Like, when this kind of hearing these kind of jokes,
that was poetry.
This is no big deal.
Did anything they say rub you worse than any dumb joke on Family Guy or South Park or something? Because I really feel like they barely touched the line on saying a controversial things. I don't know if I'm missing something here.
Again, this doesn't. Nobody that's actually complaining about this actually has a problem with people saying edgy things. It's just that this is a vector of attack on Republicans. They don't have principles. Stop thinking that they care about anything. They don't have principles at all. They are just using this as a vector of attack. That's it.
Their principal personality for live streams electrocutes his dog as a prop on a show.
And said America deserved 9/11.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.